You clicked on this video to see how I made my first £100 through photography because I'm assuming you hope to do the same. So I'm here to help you with that, so let's jump straight into it. So you want to make your first £100 through photography, and I'm here to help you with that. I made my first £100 through doing headshots, so I'm going to run you through how I did it for that specific area of photography. But you can pretty much apply these steps throughout any sort of genre of photography, whether that's cars, products, anything like that. So the first thing I would suggest you do if you want to start getting paid through photography is finding connections. And by this I mean, go find the demographic of what you want to photograph. So if you're doing headshots like me, you can go find some actors, actresses, because it helps them in their career and it's a service you can provide for them. If you're doing, let's say, car photography, maybe go to a car meet. I do that quite often. Go to a car meet, talk to some people, take some photos, tag them on your Instagram. It works. I've spoken to quite a few people through that way and it could lead to potential clients, so it is good. So you can find some actors online, maybe on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anything like that, and just give them a quick simple text and ask if they have any headshots done of them. If they haven't, perfect. Go sell yourself to them. Say that you're a good person at this, you know what you're doing. And you can pretty much get a potential client through that. It's as simple as that. If you give them the text and they say no, you can ask them if they need any updating. Because if they're out of date or they didn't like the ones previously, there you go, perfect. Now I think it's a lot easier if you're younger, around my age. That would be, I'd say, 16 to 18. Because you're either in school, college or university where there are drama departments full of hundreds of students. Now these hundreds of students all want to most likely grow up to be actors, actresses, or just anything involving the spotlight media career, you know, television, stuff like that. And they all need, for that to be successful, headshots. So you have hundreds of potential clients that you can work with, and that will bring you in a fair amount of money, quite a bit more than I think 100 if you were to do this successfully. The second thing I would suggest to anyone out there who wants to start making money through photography is to go out and invest in the right equipment. And by right, I mean don't go out there and spend £3,000 on your first camera because one, you're not going to know how to use it and all the settings are going to be really overcomplicated. And the second reason I'd mainly say is if you maybe just find it as a hobby. If you're finding this as a hobby, you don't want to do it as like a full-time career, you've now spent £3,000 on a camera, which you're going to regret. So this is why I say start on a lower camera, a lower level, a cheaper one, pretty much. And by cheaper, I don't mean terrible quality. I mean like there are a few cameras out there that you can get good quality with and are not extortionate and hurting the bank account, which you can get great photos with. I started out with a Nikon D5300, which I had for 3 years, and I got it as a Christmas present. I did my school course in this, and I pretty much used it every day. And I know to the point now that I pretty much understood everything on that camera to the best of my ability. Obviously, there's a few things that you're never going to perfectly get, but with age and experience that comes with it. But that's another reason why I wouldn't suggest going out there and buying this. Some other things you may need depending on what type of photography you're doing. In my case, headshots would be lights and a backdrop. And this is so you can light them properly, and obviously you don't want just some ugly wall behind them or some empty space. It won't look as nice as if you have a backdrop. And obviously you're investing money and they may cost a bit more, but the return on investment will be better because the better your photos look, the more you can charge for them. So you pretty much get the money back, so you don't have to stress about that. If I was doing car photography, I'd still say a light. Obviously you don't need a backdrop exactly because you're not going to move it into a studio. But I'd definitely say a light because you can do a lot with lights and car photography, which I know because you can do light paintings, or maybe you just need a light to light it properly if it's too dark out or something. Stupid example, but you get the idea. You need to invest in stuff that will help your specific area of photography. I have found this equipment on Amazon, and I'll chuck the lights and the backdrop up on screen now. But what I'd tell you to do instead of going to buy the however much it was, I can't remember exactly, I'd say check eBay and Facebook Marketplace. They are the exact same thing, probably just a bit more used, but as long as they still work, you're good, and it saves you quite a bit of money. Congratulations, you made it to the third step. You've made the connections, you've got the clients, and now it's time to meet them and take some photos. And my biggest piece of advice to you here is be friendly and don't make it awkward. There is nothing worse than meeting your client and getting ready to take some photos and then just sitting in silence. You're both just sitting there. It's going to be really awkward. It's not going to be a comfortable experience for your client, and they may not like the photos as much. Whereas if you go and approach them, start talking to them, make some jokes, just have a bit of fun with it. You don't need to be all stressed up about this, it's fine. But if you start being awkward, the photos will come out badly. Whereas if you're talking making them jokes, you make them feel comfortable, they'll loosen up a bit, and I'm sure the photos will come out better. When me and my cousin do headshots, because he's an actor, we play some music and we just sit there and sing, and just, it's really funny, but it makes the mood so much better, and I really enjoy it. So personally, I'd recommend doing something like that. I'm not saying to the extent of blasting music. Go for it by all means, but you do what you think will make them comfortable, and then hopefully the photos will turn out better. So, pricing. It's a bit of a difficult one, but when it came to my first shoot with a client, I didn't really know what to price my services, and you may be in the same situation, in the same boat as me. But the main thing you need to remember is that your skills are worth it, and you are providing a service which is going to help them. But for my first photo shoot, I charged £5 a photo. We actually went out for the day, so it wasn't in the studio. But we went out, spent about 5 hours, 3,000 photos later. We came back, looked at the photos, and the ones he liked, he just wrote the number down on, gave them to me. I went off and edited them, and he got them. But let's say your client picks 10 photos and you're charging £5, 50 quid straight there. You're halfway there already. But what I did for this specific shoot is once my client started to pick up quite a few more photos, and I think he got around 30, which is 150 quid. I took some money off and I basically said, look, I liked working with you. Obviously, it's my first shoot. I hope you can trust me and rely on me, and thank you for that. So I took some money off, and then hopefully, if he ever needs anything else done, he can come back to me. Obviously, because I took some money off for him, it's a favour. That's how I said it. But obviously, I'm not saying you have to copy my exact payment structure. You charge what you think you're worth. That is completely up to you. I'm just saying for what I did. And that goes for everything I've discussed here. This is how I've done it to my best ability, and this is just to help you make your mind up, maybe change some things. It's up to you completely what you do. My final tip for anyone who wants to start making money through photography is to take your time with the editing and do not rush. Now, this may seem pretty obvious, but the last thing you want is an unhappy client who spent all of this money and all of this time with you throughout the day, taking photos that they think are going to be amazing, and the standards that you're delivering to them are not as good as they expect. You want your client to be very happy with what you've done. So spend time learning Photoshop, learning Lightroom, or any other alternatives that you may be using to edit your photos. And you can also look on YouTube. There's hundreds of tutorials out there if you're getting stuck with anything. So just spend time learning and make sure you know what you're doing. And then from there, just use your amazing skills. Maybe make their eyes stand out. I don't know, get rid of if they have a spot, which I do, which obviously you can't do much about in editing on videos. I mean, you probably could, but yeah, you just got to make them look good. Don't overdo it like they've had cosmetic surgery, because that's not what you're looking for there. That's not what they're looking for. You need to try and get a true representation of them. And obviously, spots and blemishes, they can go, because you're not going to have them 24/7. It's just there. Obviously, it's unlucky of the day. But yeah, that's all I've pretty much got for this. And that's it, my 5 tips for helping you start to get paid through photography. I do hope that what I've told you today can help and make you go on and succeed in the world of photography. And if this video has helped you in any sort of way, please make sure to like and subscribe, because it helps me out a lot and it helps me grow this channel. But with that being said, see ya!